angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side today. Angle, side, angle says that if two angles and the included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and the included side of another, then the two triangles are congruent. Remember, included means the side between the two angles. So on our picture, angle G is congruent to angle K, angle H is congruent to angle N, and then they have GH congruent to KN. This side that's marked congruent is between the two angles that are marked congruent. Notice how in your angle, side, angle, the S, the word side, is between the two angles. Okay? Your congruency statement. If I name the first triangle, triangle GBH, then my second triangle needs to be in which order? Good, KPN. Okay, angle, side, angle. These first three, the two from Monday and this one, are all postulates. That means you just accept them. They work. This fourth one was actually a theorem, which means someone had to prove that it worked every single time. Okay, we're not going to prove it, but that's just the difference there. This guy, angle, angle, side, states that if two angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and the corresponding non-included side, then the two triangles are congruent. So in my picture, I've got angle C congruent to angle X, angle D congruent to angle G, and then segment DM congruent to segment GT. Notice how this side is no longer between the two angles. And in my words, my S, my side, is no longer between the two A's, the two angles. So that's angle, angle, side. If I name that first triangle, triangle MCD, what's my congruency statement going to be from that? Good, TXG. Angle, angle, side. It would still be angle, angle, side if they would have marked like CM congruent to TX too. Because those two sides that I just marked in blue are also not between the two angles. Okay, so it's just got to be the side that's not between the two angles. Just because we're learning these two today doesn't mean they're the only two you're going to use on your homework. You now have 4 ways to prove triangles congruent. Side, 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 angle, and angle, angle, side. They're all free game, so you can use all 4 of them from here on out. All right? Number 1, name 2 triangles that are congruent by the angle, side, angle postulate. Why don't you go ahead and just circle the 2 triangles that would be congruent by the angle, side, angle postulate, which 2 triangles represent angle, side, angle. Good. Your first one and your third one should be circled. The middle triangle doesn't even have enough information. It only has 2 markings on it. If I were to write the congruency statement, if I name my first one triangle ACT, what would be the second part of my statement then? DGO, good. Angle A is congruent to angle D, angle C is congruent to angle G, and then that leaves T and O. All right. So, next example of proof. Given angle A is congruent to angle B, segment AP is congruent to segment BP, we're trying to prove that the 2 triangles are congruent. What's the first step in a proof? Given. All right, copy it down. After you copy the given, then what do we do? Mark the picture based off of that. Good. So angle A congruent to angle B, segment AP congruent to segment BP. There's my given. Good. We know that the vertical angles exist, so they must be congruent. Mark those 2. Looking at the diagram, Kylie, would you say that those 2 triangles are congruent? Which of our four ways are you using? Good, angle, side, angle. So I have to make sure I get all three parts of angle, side, angle listed in my proof. Well, the given has the pair of angles. The given has a pair of sides. So the only thing we need to add is the other pair of angles, which Sarah said are our vertical angles. How do I name them? Angle APX is congruent to angle BPY. Good. You need to use 3 letters when you have vertical angles. Vertical angles theorem. There's my third part of my postulate. So step 3, copy down what you're trying to prove. Triangle APX is congruent to triangle BPY by angle, side, angle. If it helps you, after you get it all marked up, to write what you're using and then check off what you need, do that so that you don't miss any steps. Questions on your first proof? Okay, once you have it copied down, flip it over and do number 3 on your own. First step is your given, so we should have angle B congruent to angle D. AB is parallel to CD. After you write the given, then what do? Mark it. Congruent angles you mark with the curves. How do you mark parallel lines? With the feathers or the arrows. Some of you are using little tick marks. No. Tick marks means congruent. Little feathers or arrows mean parallel. Okay? So that's just what we're given. But what else do we know? Anything? AC would be congruent to AC itself. See, tick marks mean congruent. You can just use 1, 2 there, it didn't matter. Okay, because these lines are parallel, right? And I can use this one as the transversal. So then between the yellow and the green lines, here are your alternate interior angles. Make sure you're using the alternates that are touching the parallel lines. You wouldn't want to say, like in my case, these blank ones are congruent because they're not hitting parallel lines that we know of. Just looking at the markings, do we have enough to say that the 2 triangles are congruent? Yeah, would it be angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side? Good, angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. This side is not between the 2 angles in the same triangle. So, I have one angle already listed in my given. My second angle are the alternate interior. Make sure you use 3 letters to name these. This top one, it goes from the top yellow line to the bottom green line here. So when I name it, follow those lines. B, A, C. That gives me that top angle. Congruent to angle, the bottom one, if I follow the lines that make it, D, C, A. Just a second. If lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. So there's my second angle. I'll get there. Then my side is our reflexive step. AC is congruent to AC. And these 2 steps, 2 and 3, they could have been flipped around and you'd still have a correct proof. Since I have all 3 parts, then I'm done. So number 4, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle CDA by angle, angle, side. Sarah, look at the triangle individually. So if I look at just triangle ABC, I'm ignoring this marking down here, and it goes angle, angle, side. The side that's congruent is not between the 2 angles. Okay? That help? You just look at the triangle individually. Okay. All right. Do number 4. First step given, NM is congruent to NP. Angle M is congruent to angle P. Mark it. And then what else do we know? Everybody. Vertical angles. Good. Make sure you use 3 letters. So LNM is congruent to angle ONP, putting your vertex in the middle. And that's by the vertical angles theorem. Do we have enough here to say that the 2 triangles are congruent? Which of our 4 ways are we using? Angle, side, angle, and double checking. I have a side in the given, an angle in the given, and then we just did the other angle. So step 3, triangle NML is congruent to triangle NPO by angle, side, angle. All right, do the next one if you haven't. All right, so number 5, our given. Angle S is congruent to angle Q, and then RP bisects angle SRQ. Angle S congruent to angle Q, are your side wings there. Then we're bisecting an angle. So if you bisect an angle, what do you do to it? Cut it in half. Make 2 equal angles. When you bisect one angle, you get 2 equal angles. If you bisect a segment, you get 2 equal segments. So if I'm going to bisect angle SRQ, that's this whole bottom one, then I'm going to cut it into 2 equal angles, which would be those guys. That's how you mark your bisecting part of the given. What else do you know? PR is congruent to itself. They both use that segment. Looking at the pictures, do we have enough to prove the triangle's congruent? Which of our 4 ways? Angle, angle, side. Because my side is not between those 2 angles. So I got to double check. I have 1 angle in the given. My second angles, SRP is congruent to angle QRP by the definition of a bisector. And then our side, RP is congruent to RP. Now again, you can have 2 and 3 flipped around. But since we have all 3 parts, then we can be done. Triangle SRP is congruent to triangle QRP by angle, angle, side. Do they seem better than even Monday? Okay. 3 left. Tell whether you can prove the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. If you can, state the congruency, the triangle congruency statement, and then the postulate or theorem you used. If you can't prove them congruent, then it says to write not possible. So looking at our 2 triangles in triangle or number 6, what do you think, Veronica? Can we prove those 2 triangles congruent on 6? Okay, which of your 2 ways are you using? I didn't hear. Angle, side, angle? Is your side between your 2 congruent angles? Good, angle, angle, side. And then your congruency statement, did you write one down? What'd you get? Good. PQR to GHI, yes, that would work. Yep, you just have to make sure wherever your G is, the P is in the same location. Or wherever your I is, the R is in the same spot. There's many ways to write congruency statements. Emma, what do you think about 7? Are the triangles congruent? Why not? We don't have anything we can get? She said alternate interior. Did you hear her say that? Would you agree that we would have a pair? Okay. Would it be these 2 or these 2? The first pair or the second pair? First pair, right? Because they hit the parallel lines. Okay. Do we know anything else? Do you agree? Okay, PA is congruent to PA. They both use that segment. We need to have 3 bits of information. You either have to have like all 3 sides, 2 sides and an angle, 2 angles and a side. Do I have anything else I can get? No. So then this would be not possible. Yep. We have some information, but not enough. Emily, how about number 8? Did you say that those two triangles were congruent? What'd you use for your reasoning? Which side did you say was congruent? Which side? Because I only have angles marked, so what sides are you saying? Good, AX. They both use segment AX, so then that gives us angle, angle, side, you said? Okay, what'd you write for your congruency statement, Em? Good. Questions? Okay. Okay, here's your homework, page 215, 1 through 7, 10 through 16, and 21 through 23.